If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. In addition to that, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other platforms. Why not check it out today? Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Good day, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on what time you're listening to this and where you're listening from. I like to greet you properly. So it's nothing deep, nothing super, but it is power. Like, I've been talking about faith lately, and a lot of my mentors have been talking about faith. And honestly, I know that the Most High is doing something with all of our hearts that are trying to walk by faith. Like, we no longer trying. I don't know who this for, or, who may need to hear this, but this is just the conversation. Are you really faith walking in 2023? Like, I know that I'm not doing this by myself. And I just feel that as we faith walk, we have to understand, don't hold on to what's unnecessary. It's like, if you were instructed to let something go, please let that thing go. I don't care what that thing is, but if the Most High shared with you, you need to let it go, let it go. Like, as I said, this is just a conversation because I felt like I haven't been on here in a minute and I wanted to just, converse with like-minded people. So, of course, join in if you know this is for you, or if you disagree, or if you're misunderstanding what I'm talking about. However, I just say all that to say, if you are listening to me for the first time, what is like faith walking? Like, are you gonna faith walk this year, or are you going to really keep talking about, oh, this is my year, this is going to be a new year for me, but you say you in the kingdom of God? However, as soon as something comes your way, you start to believe that thing instead of the promise that came before that thing happened. Like, I know that was a little wordy, but it's real. That's how faith is. Faith ain't always gonna make sense, because if it makes sense, then it's not faith. It's like, oh, I'm believing in self. So if you're believing in self, then you're not having faith in the plan that the Most High has for you. Walking by faith really means that you are following the Most High. You are following the shepherd. If you're saying that Yah is your shepherd, and for most say the Lord is my shepherd, then how can he be your shepherd, but you won't walk by faith? You keep doing it your way. You keep holding on to what he told you to let go. I know that's a little much. That's why I don't mind having this conversation, because it can't be just for me. I'm like, the Most High is not just telling MsLalexis that, you know what, you need to let some things go. You can't bring that into 2023. Stop looking at the outcome, but you're not putting in the work. And putting in the work is letting some things go. For some, that may be a job. For some, that may be foods. For some, that may be shopping habits. For some, that may be a relationship. And it's not in a negative thing, because you have to let something go to grow and or to walk by faith. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like, it's not a bad thing. Understand, that's part of your process. And if you've been following me, if you've been chit-chatting with me, we went in together. And I can't be fake with you. Like, there's no need in me sitting here trying to pity-pat what really needs to be done if you're really trying to win. I know it's easier said than done. I know the obstacle in front of you, it looks like it is what it's supposed to be. However, we know if something is a gift from God, from above, from the kingdom of the Most High, we know when it's from there because it comes with his fruit. You have that peace that passeth all understanding, even if you're long suffering. That's why I shared with you today. And if you feel like joining in with the conversation, whether you agree or disagree, in order to faith walk, we got to start letting some stuff go. You can't take what you dealt with last year into this year. This first week of January 2023, it is so important. Like, it's so important. I just say that because if you choose to lean to your own understanding and look at what's in front of you, however, you know the Spirit of the Most High, of the Ruach HaKodesh, has spoken to you and has showed you who you are and whose you are and what you're supposed to be doing, but you fall for what's in front of you, don't do it. Don't be that person this year, because then you're going to have to spend 2023 in another pit when you could be honestly living in the palace. It's up to you. And it's not about material things. This could be your character. This could be, you walking into who the Most High has called you to be. He's given you your purpose. Or if he hasn't shown you your purpose, it's time to find it. This message is not just for one situation. This is us really faith walking in 2023. I just couldn't hold this back. I just wanted to have this conversation because it saddens me sometimes when I see people, even though I'm made out of people, trust and believe, I have not arrived. I will play this message for myself and hear what needs to be heard on the repeat. So I just say that to say it hurts my heart when I hear so many people that are in the kingdom and get excited about the word, get excited about who God is. However, there's no change. The relationship is cliche because they're lacking that one thing, which is faith to let go of what is in front of them, which honestly is sometimes the temptation, the sin, and we then want to say it's God, but it's not. It's just like as the word showed, the illustration in the word, when Yahuwah, or some may call Jesus Christ, was on, the earth walking, he was, we say he was tempted, but not really, because he didn't fall for it. He was able to address because that temptation was not within, and he was able to keep going. Like, I don't know who needs to hear this today, but this is not just to beat you up to show you that you're in your pit, but it's to show you how to get out of it. If he told you something, and how do you know if God told you something? If it does not line up according to his word, it ain't him. If it does not allow you to experience the fruit that he shares with us, then it's not him. It's that simple. And, I was sharing with, on the podcast, I was sharing with that the other day, that it's not up to us to determine what he shows us. Like, it's his, I'm trying to give confirmation so someone can understand whoever this is for, because I can sometimes get deep. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I will go into a whole realm because I read a lot. I study a lot. I read a lot. So these are the things that add up in my brain. But I must understand that as I'm sharing with you, I don't want you to get distracted by the deepness, but I really want your life to change and you really to win. So whoever this is for, if you're really going to faith walk in 2023 and you're really saying this is your year, it's time to let go of some things. And those things are what's in front of you. And a lot of those things that are in front of you are the temptation that's coming within. And then you find yourself saying, why can't I go forward, but I read my word. I talk to God. I talk to the Most High, but there's no change. That's because you're still trying to do it your way. That's not faith walking. We got to be like Abraham, y'all. And even though he gave us Isaac, we got to be willing to put Isaac on the altar. It's that type of year. That's what type of year 2023 about to be. And I get excited because if you say that you're trying to win this year, if you say that you're putting your trust in the Most High, what are you willing to sacrifice? I know that thing is like, oh man, not one of these conversations. Yeah, it's necessary because a lot of people love to live in this microwave society that we've been provided, and we don't want to trust the process. And sometimes the process is letting go of some things that we are familiar with, some people that we are familiar with, some places that we are familiar with. What are you willing to let go for your purpose? What are you willing to let go to walk by faith? So, I thank y'all for listening. I thank you for joining in. If you hear this on the repeat, of course, send me a message. Tell me how you feel because we walking by faith this year and we really are trying to win. Actually, I don't even like the word trying. I feel like when you use the word trying, you're really making an excuse in advance because either you're going to do it or you're not. Like, really. But I inspire you today to think about faith walking in 2023. What you going to do different in 2023 that you didn't do in 2022? Everybody can walk around saying this my year, but how is it going to be your year? What you going to do? Are you going to trust him? Again, if this is your first time listening to me, I'm not one to knock anyone else's beliefs. I believe that people believe in who and what they want. I'm not against that. But over here with MsLalexis, I practice biblical principles because that's how I'm able to make it in this world. So I share with you, are you going to walk by faith this year? Or are you going to still pretty much make an excuse? Like, are you going to say, well, I tried. This is what it is. This is where I am. Is that going to be you this year? Or are you going to really be that person to say, nah, I know that the Father did not show me who I am for me to be who I was last year. Like, if you got through some things last year, pat yourself on the back. Thank God for surviving. A lot of people didn't make it, they didn't. However, don't make excuses to where the Most High is taking you. If you walking by faith in 2023, some things you going to have to let go. That's just default. And I, as I shared with you, I have not arrived. I'm letting some things go too. We winning together, so no need in acting as if this message is not for me too. Like I share with y'all all the time. I replay this stuff because we must be reminded that if he is our shepherd, we shall not want. So obviously, if we're still in a place of wanting, that means that we're not walking by faith. Because if he's told you what to let go, if he showed you who you are, what are you going to believe? Are you going to believe the report that you were just given? Are you going to believe the relationship that you are in or what you're dealing with in that relationship? Are you going to believe that you won't become a doctor because you just failed that test? I say all of these different scenarios because all of us are experiencing different places in our life. This is for whoever's hearing this or whoever you may know that should hear this. And I ask that you share it with them because you cannot get caught up on what you see right now. What you see can sometimes stop you from going into your purpose because you're not walking by faith, you're walking by sight. And that ain't gonna work in 2023. You made the decision to accept that, okay, 2023 is going to be the best year of my life. Now understand, since you declared that, Trust and believe. Everything is going to come for that comment. Everything is going to be put in front of you, and you are going to be putting some things on the altar. And you're going to have to say, wait a minute. This don't line up to what my God told me. This don't line up to what my God showed me. This don't line up to who God said I was. However, it looks like what I want. Who is this for today? We must understand that we can't fall for what's in front of us. That's how the enemy can trip us up. That's how the enemy can trick us, is if we keep falling for what we see. It's really that simple. So you going to fall for what you see today because you failed that test? You going to fall for what you see today because you're a chef and the meal that you presented before someone was nasty? Or are you going to trust that God said, this is who I am, and I'm going to walk by faith, and whatever's distracting me from being who God called me to be, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to put that aside. I'm not going to have fear about that situation. I'm just going to understand that that's a temptation from within trying to come out and present itself as if God didn't tell me who I was. Okay? Like, this faith walking in 2023 is real. And again, I don't know if this is your first time hearing me or not, but if it is, I'm a woman that walks by faith. I'm a woman that walks by the word. I have not arrived. Trust and believe. We went in together. And I just inspire you to walk by faith this year. It's real. And don't be afraid to trust what God is showing you. Don't be afraid to dream. Forget about the people around you. Forget about what people have said about you. Forget about what people have said about your family. Forget all of that. Walk by faith and allow God to lead you. Allow Yah to be your father. Allow yourself to walk by faith. I'm trying to tell you, you're going to be excited. I know I'm going to be excited. But again, if you would like to join in, if you agree, disagree, or if you just want to confirm that this is what the Most High is sharing with you as well, please feel free to join in, because hey, I always say we went in together, and I love the conversation. I love for us to be able to have the live conversation. So I just again say that to say that we walking by faith, and walking by faith is not a cliche. It's heard so much, and it's also recited by people that sometimes we don't want to hear that from. We be like, hold on, you still sick, you still struggling, you still, and it's not to knock anyone. However, it's time to stop looking at others and really start getting in relationship with the Most High, to understand his love, to understand his ways, and to understand that what is put before us is not it. Because if we can see a thing, then that's walking by sight. But if we know that that thing that's before us and in front of us is just to discourage us, and it's just a piece of deceit, then that's how we know that that's not of the Most High, and we must continue to hear our shepherd's voice. So, whoever this is for today, be encouraged. Don't fall for what you see. Like my mom, Lady V, always say, it ain't what it look like. It's not. Are you going to let what's in front of you really ruin your day today? Are you really going to let what's in front of you take all the joy that God just gave you on the 1st of the year? I know it's only the 5th, but I know some of us done gone through some things these last 4 days ever since we declared it's going to be our year. So I know this is for somebody right now, that we are faith walking in 2023. We are not leaning to our own understanding, but in all our ways, we are acknowledging our Father who leads us, who guides us, and we're going to walk accordingly. Now, of course, I ain't going to go into all of that, because, faith requires work. Faith without works is dead. However, it's not works that man can see. It's deep, y'all. But deepness only comes through relationship. It's not that I've arrived, it's just that I've chosen to get in my word. And I inspire you today to get in your word. Forget what them people talking about. Forget who they said they this, that, whatever. People gonna always talk. But what are you going to do in 2023 when it comes to your faith walk? So, I'm gonna leave it right there, and I have to get on to some other things, but I just had to share this because I know this is not just for me today. Like, we all are experiencing life on a whole new level ever since 2020, and we all know this. So that's why we must continue to walk by faith. And we got to mean that thing in 2023, because you're close to where God has called you to be. You're close to who God has called you to be. Honestly, you already are there, but you're allowing the enemy to distract you by what you see. You're allowing the enemy to question who God has called you to be. Isn't that what happened to Eve in the garden? We have to remember that. Like, it's not that the enemy knew exactly what she was about to do. It's that he questioned her, and because she didn't believe what God had said, she gave him too much information. I know that's going into another level as well, which is why I said I'm definitely about to get off of here. But, I hope that today is the best day of your life. If you're not in a good mood, I hope that you get in one. Because remember, the minute we just shared together, you can't get that back. So always understand, no wasting time. Keep going, get in a better mood, try to focus, get in your word. And if you see somebody that you don't know, pray for them. Like, pray for the person in front of you in the car, pray for the person behind you, pray for the person in line. You never know, your prayer may heal them or may save their life. And in addition to that, if you see somebody that's on the street hungry and you have an extra dollar to spare, or if you have food or water, share it. I understand. We'll know what they're going to do with it after we give it to them, but that ain't our responsibility. Our word teaches us to feed the hungry. So I inspire you today to just be great. Walk by faith and not by sight. Good day.